Shout out to Blaze Fire for the recommendation. If you came to this video to understand what a gather is, that is defined through the active shooting motion and should go to the active shooting video. Or for the gather step move, you should go to the traveling video. As the game of basketball evolves, so do the rules. The allowances for dribbling have made great strides since the game was created. How much leniency is given for the placement of the hand on the ball from Bob Cousy to Tim Hardaway to Allen Iverson to Kevin Durant. A quick history lesson on dribbling. When people joke about the 50s basketball where they're dribbling with their hand on top of the ball like they have paddles for hands.
The Knicks want that basketball. West to the forecourt. He makes the throw. He turns the ball over. He is called for fouling.
Oblivious to the fact that any deviation or hand placement to the side of the ball would be called a carry ball. The game has evolved, and so has the allowance for the hand to be on the side of the ball and not be deemed at rest. This understanding matters for when we look at what is an illegal dribble and where and why the interpretations of the rule may vary. To define a dribble, it is the movement of a live ball caused by a player in control. Control is a key word that we'll see throughout the rules and will be emphasized. Of the ball by throwing, tapping, rolling, or bouncing the ball on the floor. Basically covering all the scenarios on how you can be deemed dribbling a ball. Starting a dribble is doing the action of what we just defined as a dribble, and doing the action consistently before it touches another player. Ending of a dribble is when we decide if it is a double dribble or a carry ball. Both are under the illegal dribble umbrella. A dribble ends when the player touches the ball with both hands simultaneously or permits the ball to come to rest in one or both hands. When we look at double dribble violations, touching the ball with both hands is a double dribble that is easy to call and rarely seen. The ball coming to rest in both hands is gathering the ball, and if you were to start a dribble again, it would be a double dribble. The ball coming to rest in one hand is where the carry ball violation occurs. This is where interpretations may vary, since it is written when the ball is permitted to come to rest in one hand. Is the hand on the side of the ball deemed at rest? Is when the hand goes under the ball deemed at rest? What if the ball is still spinning when your hand is under the ball? Would that not defy the at-rest principle, using the physics term of at rest? This is why the little history lesson was brought in. The interpretation of the ball coming to rest has changed over time, and the allowance is different depending on the league you officiate. My interpretation would be if the hand comes to the side of the ball and they do not palm the ball, I would not call a carry. If their hand comes under the ball and then they start a dribble again, then I would call it carry ball. My reasoning is that the hand on the side of the ball is mostly a fluid motion. The ball is still rotating and it can be rhythmic in nature. When the hand comes under the ball, we have an advantage for a quick gather or active shooting. Allowing the hand to come under the ball would be deemed the ball coming to rest. During a dribble, the ball may be thrown into the air provided that the ball touches the floor or another player before the player who threw it touches it again with their hand. This is a rare scenario of someone dribbling and throws the ball in the air over the player and runs and gets it after it hits the floor. No limit to the amount of steps a player takes when the ball is not in contact with the hand. You could dribble, do a little dance, or do a push dribble and take 5 steps. Amount of steps only matter after gathering of the ball. A player who accidentally loses the ball then regains control of a live ball on the playing court is considered to be fumbling the ball. As mentioned prior, control is a key word. You need control for a dribbling violation to occur. Whether you fumble the ball at the beginning of your dribble or at the end of your dribble, it is not deemed a dribble. Other examples that are not dribbling. A shot for a field goal. You lose team control, so we cannot have a dribble. Attempt to gain control of the ball by tapping it from the area of other players. Tapping the ball from the control of another player and deflecting a pass and gaining control. All of these actions suit the definition of a dribble through throwing, tapping, or bouncing the ball on the floor, except for the player having control category. These 3 examples have you attempting to gain control through a tap, which some referees call a controlling dribble, which does not warrant as starting a dribble. Control is needed first. Tossing the ball from hand to hand and allowing it to come to rest in one or both hands before touching the floor, providing that no traveling violation is committed. You can juggle the ball on the spot, and it will not be deemed a dribble because it did not touch the floor, and it won't be traveling as long as you aren't moving your feet while you're juggling. Not to be confused with tapping the ball in the air a couple of times to gain possession like Rodman. It discusses juggling with control. Last situation was changed in 2018. Deliberately throwing the ball off the backboard used to be deemed a dribble. Now you can throw the ball off the backboard as many times as you want and regain control, and no dribble violation will occur. This change does allow for more exciting plays to occur. Scenarios that you can start a dribble again after ending a dribble. A shot for a field goal. What makes this one interesting is people associate a shot for a field goal with the criteria that it has to hit the rim. That's not true. If you airball or only hit all backboard, you can run and go get your miss. A lot of people assume it is traveling or double dribble, but as long as the official deems it as a shot attempt, then the player has lost control of a live ball and can go get it before another player touches it. Only difference is if you purposely throw the ball off the backboard, then you do not get to start a second dribble. An opponent touching the ball. If an opponent hits the ball from your hands, then you can dribble again. You have to lose control, player control that is, not team control, of the ball before you can have that opportunity to dribble a second time. If the ball remains in your hands after the opponent tapping the ball, you cannot start a dribble for a second time. A pass or fumble that has touched or been touched by another player. Remember, a fumble is not a dribble, but after the fumble, it cannot be the reason for you to start a dribble for a second time. As long as another player touches the ball after the pass or the fumble, you can start a dribble again. A couple of interpretations to look at. Deliberately throwing the ball off the backboard. Quick summary of these two scenarios. You can throw it off either team's backboard and catch it. Those are legal plays. You just do not get another dribble opportunity from it. You still have player control by throwing it deliberately, so if you have not used your dribble yet, you can still dribble. If you already have used your dribble, then you can only pass or shoot from it. 24-4. The only thing I want to highlight is to solidify my earlier point. A1 shot for a field goal misses the ring, and he goes to catch his missed shot. It is a legal play, even if they airballed the shot or only hit the backboard. 24-5. A1 dribbles then comes to a legal stop. We already know B is legal, but A is a situation that would be argued in a game. That a player ended their dribble, and when they lost balance, the ball touched the ground once or twice while it's in the player's hands. This is not a double dribble. We'd only have a travel if the pivot foot was lifted in this case. 24-6 reinforces the play I discussed earlier about throwing the ball over an opponent or utilizing a push dribble. As long as the ball touches the playing court, then the player can dribble again or catch the ball. This is applicable to an errant pass where a player is trying to pass to a teammate. Teammate moves from where they were targeting and attempts to stop the pass. Player goes and retrieves the pass, and people are calling for a travel. As long as the ball touches the floor and they have not used their dribble yet, it is a legal play. If you were to throw the ball in the air, run to catch it without touching the floor, this would be a traveling situation. Last scenario is the classic street ball move / one-on-one move. Player lost their dribble or ended their dribble, and they're being crowded. Or maybe they're not even in a desirable location, so then they throw the ball deliberately off their opponent to gain another dribble or start a second dribble. This is a double dribble violation because it does not meet the criteria of the opponent touching the ball, not the ball being thrown off the opponent. It is confusing in the sense that B1's body technically touched it, but basically what the rule is saying is that the opponent has to initiate the ball being touched, so the defender initiating that touch, not the offensive player purposely throwing it at them.